So the beauty of these instructions such as for and if is that because they operate on blocks, they can all be nested inside each other, and so you can have an if inside the for, a for inside an if, and obviously a for inside the for. And this in particular is very useful, and you find it many times, especially when operating on sort of two-dimensional arrays, so doing matrix operations, but not only. Or if you think of a spreadsheet, for instance, that's where, if you are processing a spreadsheet, you want to process all the columns, you want to process all the rows. It's a double loop, you've got two indices. Let's look at how this works. So I is varying in this range from 1 to 10, in fact. That 11 is not included. And for each value of I, you run this for loop over again. And because that's the content of the outer loop, so it runs over again each time. And when it runs, j starts from 1 and goes all the way to 10. And that essentially prints one row of this table. And then you print a new line before moving on to the next value of I and repeating the process again. Now I strongly recommend that you go and paste this code inside Python Tutor. This is an online interpreter that allows you to go through the code step by step, and it shows you the value for the variables, and it shows you the output as it gets printed. And really that gives you a lot of insight, so do that now. Also, when you find yourself in front of something like that, it's probably a good idea to simplify it a little bit and just see what happens. And I've done it for you down here. So, you can write something like this. Just reduce the range, and then inside the outer for, we print the value of the variable I, and then this is the inner for, and we just print the value of the variable j, and then the outer loop is done. And if you run this, and that's the result, you see what's happening. As I said, when the inner loop starts, I is 1, then j becomes, and that's the first time the inner loop starts. That's the first time the outer loop goes around, I is 1, and then j takes on the values 1, 2, and 3 as the inner loop is run. Then the inner loop is done, and we go around, and again the inner loop starts, but this time I is 2, because this is gone around, j is 1, j is 2, j is 3, and so on and so forth.